must it be like? Oh Allah, allow, Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, allow us to see these people in Jannah. These are champions. These are people that the world longs for now. They're nowhere to be found. Nevertheless, the story goes on, and it's not an easy story. So these 10 Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam begin their journey, and they leave. They reach a place called Raj'î. This is a place that is situated between Mecca and between Asfan. When they reach this place, the same tribes, Adal and Qara, that had requested Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to dispatch this group of Sahaba to teach them the deen, they've committed their first act of treachery. They have informed the tribe residing there in Raj'î by the name of Bani Lihyan. They've alerted them and informed them that these Sahaba are coming. Deal with them, finish them off. The tribe of Banu Lihyan, they get hold of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. And they're 200 warriors. 100 of them are archers. The Sahaba are 10, with absolutely not even a remote intent of going to war. 10 with nothing, up against 200 warriors, 100 archers. Nevertheless, these 10 then climbed the hill. They did what they possibly could have done. After climbing this hill, these disbelievers say, come down the hill. We promise you refuge, we promise you sanctuary. On this occasion, one of them replied, he says, Wallahi, by Allah, we will never accept refuge and sanctuary from a disbeliever. And this is when they realized that indeed they were going to meet their coveted ends. And so one of them made dua to Allah. Abdullah bin Tariq radiallahu anhu said, he says, Allahumma akhbir anna rasulak. O Allah, inform your messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam regarding us. In the narration it is mentioned, this is the hadith of Imam Bukhari, that through the divine revelation, Allah informed Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam about the condition of these Sahaba radiallahu anhum who are treacherously about to be killed. Nevertheless, 7 of them came down and they were all martyred. 3 of them remain. And from these 3, Asim bin Thabit, the Amir, Zayd bin Dathina, Abdullah bin Tariq radiallahu an. These 3, they remained. Abdullah bin Tariq radiallahu anhu then says, O Allah, Allahumma inni ahmi lakal yawma dinak. Inni ahmi lakal yawma dinak fa ahmi li lahmi. O Allah, today I protect for you your deen. So, O Allah, protect me and my body. O Allah, I'm protecting your deen today. O Allah, I ask you to protect my body as well. Abdullah bin Tariq radiallahu anhu made this dua. After this, that Zayd bin Dathina and Shoaib radiallahu anhu. Zayd bin Dathina and Shoaib radiallahu anhu, they were taken to Mecca, and in Mecca they were sold as slaves. And so when they were sold there as slaves, Zayd bin Dathina radiallahu anhu was purchased by a man. He was purchased, the individual who purchased him, his name is Safwan bin Umayyah. Umayyah is amongst the leaders of the Quraysh, the disbelieving leaders who were killed in the battle of Badr, a battle in which Zayd bin Dathina radiallahu anhu had taken a great part. When Safwan bin Umayyah purchased Zayd, the only intention with which he purchased him was to kill him as soon as possible. And then the sons of Harith bin Amr, they purchased the other Sahabi. They purchased Shoaib bin Adi radiallahu anhu. And they did it for exactly the same reason, because they had lost their father in the battle of Badr. They wanted to avenge his death. So both of these Sahaba radiallahu anhum were purchased by individuals who want them killed. Coming back to that Zayd bin Dathina radiallahu anhu. Zayd bin Dathina radiallahu anhu's master, who has now purchased him, Safwan bin Umayyah, said, I shouldn't take too long to get this man killed. Let me take care of business ASAP. He orders his slave, a man by the name of Nastas, to take Zayd radiallahu anhu to a place called Tan'im and execute him there and then. And when Zayd bin Dathina radiallahu anhu is when he reaches Tan'im, he's about to be executed by Nastas. Many people from the Quraysh had all come. They had all gathered to witness this execution taking place. Amongst the people who were also present there at that time was an individual by the name of Abu Sufyan, who had not accepted Islam. Abu Sufyan, he was also there at the time. So Abu Sufyan, he told him, Zayd bin Adi radiallahu anhu, he says, do you not like that you be set free, and in place of you go home and relax with your family, and in place of you, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam be executed? Wouldn't you like that? To which Zayd radiallahu anhu replied, he said, I wouldn't like to be set free to go home and relax at home with my family, knowing that even a thorn prick the foot of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I would not like this. I wouldn't tolerate me being at home enjoying life, knowing that a single thorn has pricked the foot of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And that's when Abu Sufyan said, I have never ever encountered people that were so devoted, that were so selfless, that were so committed, like I saw the commitment of the Sahaba to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Nevertheless, coming back to the execution, Nastas, who is the slave of Safwan bin Umayyah, then kills Zayd bin Dathina radiallahu anhu. Zayd bin Dathina radiallahu anhu becomes a shaheed. The same individual who killed him, who executed him in the presence of all those people that were watching, Allah had decreed for him that later on he would embrace Islam. How the tables turned. Nevertheless, now, with him, who was also sold in Mecca, was Hadrat Shoaib radiallahu anhu. Shoaib radiallahu anhu. He was held, he was detained with the disbelievers until Muharram, quite some time. So almost a year, he is continuously in the company of the disbelievers. After spending all that time with the disbelievers, on one occasion, Zainab bint Harith, who had not until then, of course, accepted Islam, she says, one day, randomly, just before his execution, Shoaib bin Adi radiallahu anhu, he requested a blade. He asked me for a blade. So I gave it to him. I didn't understand. Like, okay, fair enough. I gave it to him. And while he had this blade in his hand, I realized I went back to my work, whatever I was busy with, the chore at that time. The baby of the family had gone closer to Shoaib radiallahu anhu, and by the time I noticed that the child was missing, I only found the child sitting in the lap of Shoaib radiallahu anhu, who is about to be executed, who's got a blade in his hand. And the one who's about to execute him are the very people to whose family this child belongs. I said to myself, oh my goodness, he can easily kill this child. And Shoaib radiallahu anhu saw these emotions. He saw me in the state of restlessness. So Shoaib radiallahu anhu said, do you think that I would stoop so low as to killing this innocent child? Is this what you think that I would think of doing something like, I would never entertain the thought of this. With us people, there's absolutely no deceit and no treachery. That's what brought us here. It was the treachery of the people that had asked Rasulullah ﷺ to dispatch some Sahaba to them. I add this on my own. As a result of which, those 10 great companions were killed. And this is why here is Shoaib radiallahu anhu, who's about to be executed as well. He says, no deceit and treachery will you get from us. That's not us. Nevertheless, that same Zainab bint Harith then says, ما رأيت أسيرا قط خيرا من خبيب. I have never in my life come across a captive that was greater than a man by the name of Shoaib. لقد رأيته يأكل من قطعة عنب وما بمكة يومئذ ثمرة وإنه لموثق في الحديد وما كان إلا رزق رزقه الله. He says, I have never seen any captive the likes of Shoaib bin Adi radiallahu anhu. He says, on that occasion, he was locked up in chains, yet he was enjoying grapes. And there wasn't a single grape to be found in Makkatul Mukarramah during that time. And I know for a fact that this was indeed sustenance that was being provided to Shoaib bin Adi exclusively by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. There is nobody that had access to him. There is nowhere in Makkah that you could have possibly found that fruit. But here he was, Shoaib radiallahu anhu, all by himself, enjoying a fruit that was nowhere to be found, completely out of season. Nevertheless, Shoaib radiallahu anhu then requests those that are going to execute him, allow me to perform my final rak'ah, 2 rak'ahs of salah. They said, go ahead, Shoaib, do whatever you like. It's the last time you're going to get to do it. He performs his 2 rak'ahs of salah, and he doesn't make it too long. And he tells them, Wallahi, had I not feared that you people would think that I fear death, that's why I'm extending my prayer. I would have never shortened it. I would have extended it, but I don't want you people to think that I'm afraid of death. That's why I didn't extend it. Makes dua to Allah. Allahumma ahsihim badada. Allahumma ahsihim badada. Waqtulhum. Allahumma ahsihim adada. Waqtulhum badada. Wa la tabqi minhum or tubqi minhum ahada. He says, oh Allah, one by one kill every single one of them and don't let a single one of them remain. Makes dua after this that Shoaib radiallahu anhu is also shaheed. He is killed. They had all come just before they executed him. He started reciting. He's about to be killed, and he starts reciting poetry. لقد جمع الأحزاب حولي وأجمعوا قبائلهم واستجمعوا كل مجمعي لقد قربوا أبناءهم ونساءهم وقربت من جذع طويل ممنع إلى الله أشكو غربتي بعد كربتي وما جمع الأحزاب لي عند مصرعي ولست أبالي حين أقتل مسلما على أي شق كان في الله مصرعي وذلك في ذات الإله وإن يشاء يبارك على أوصال شلو ممزعي. You people have gathered everyone to come watch me, your family, your women, your children, and here I am about to be executed. I'm not afraid of death. I'm not afraid you people are going to kill me, I'm going to die. I'm afraid of having to stand in front of Allah. I'm afraid of the fire of Jahannam. Nevertheless, I don't mind how I die. I don't care how I'm killed. As long as it's for Allah that I'm killed. As long as Allah is pleased with me when I'm killed. And it doesn't even matter, these broken bones of mine, Allah can bless them. Allah can bless them if Allah wills. And then he's killed. This practice of performing 2 rakat salat before being executed was initiated by Shoaib bin Adi radiallahu anhu. He was the first. He was the first to do it. Yes. And then there was Zayd bin Haritha radiallahu anhu. He also did it. Zayd bin Haritha radiallahu anhu, he was traveling on one occasion and he had hired a mule, he had rented a mule, and the owner of the mule came with him too, and he took him on the wrong direction. And after taking him on the wrong route, he brought him to a place where there was just a ton of dead bodies. And that's when Zayd bin Haritha radiallahu anhu realized, he's probably going to try to do the same to me too. He says, okay, if you're going to kill me, just allow me to perform my 2 rakats of salah first. He said, go ahead. He says, many people, all these people you see, they all tried it before you. It didn't help him in the least. He doesn't know. Those people were one category of people. This is a sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He starts his salah. While he is starting his salah, while he is performing his salah, the disbeliever that is watching him, or after he finishes with salah, he's making dua, the disbeliever, he hastened towards him with his spear in his hand or with his sword in his hand, and he's about to finish him off, he's about to kill him, when all of a sudden an angel appears. When Zayd bin Haritha radiallahu anhu realizes the enemy coming towards him, he says, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. And that's when the angel tells him, do not kill this man. So when this person sees the angel, he sees the angel, the disbeliever witnesses the angel for himself. He retrieves, pulls back. After some time he continues. Again he tries to attack the Sahabi Zayd bin Haritha. Again, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. The same thing. He sees the angel tells him, don't you hit him. Don't you get near him. A third time he's about to do the same. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, says Zayd bin Haritha. The angel tells him, don't. And by then, the angel takes his spear and strikes him and finishes him off. Zayd bin Haritha radiallahu anhu asks him, who are you? He says, I'm an angel that has been dispatched by Allah, deputed by Allah to save you. He says, when you said, Ya Arhamar Rahimin the first time, I was in the 7th heaven. When you said it the second time, I came rushing down. I made it to the sky of this world. And when you said it the third time, that's where you saw me before you, before your eyes. And anybody in the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam who has any difficulty before them, they make wudu, they perform 2 rakats of salah, Ya Arhamar Rahimin thrice, Allah will take care of them. Allah will take care of their problem for them. Similar story narrated about a Sahabi by the name of Abu Mu'allaq Ansari radiallahu anhu. This man was phenomenally God-fearing, pious to the next level. And he was also a great businessman. On one occasion, a bandit got hold of him. This man was armed. He had everything with him. And he took hold of him. He said, listen, if you want my wealth, Abu Mu'allaq Ansari radiallahu anhu said, take it, but let me live. He says, no, I want to kill you. It's you that I desire. Your life is what I want to take. He says, fair enough. Allow me to perform 2 rakats of salah. The bandit tells him, listen, Everybody's tried that in the past. It was to no avail. Go ahead though, you can read your salah. He starts his salah. After he begins his salah, Allahu Akbar. When these sahabi, I tell you, when these sahaba radiyallahu anhum, when they wanted Allah, man, Ya Wadud, Ya Dhal Arsh al-Majid, Ya Fa'alan lima yurid, As'aluka bi'izzatika allati la turam. I didn't memorize the whole thing, but it's like 2.5, 3 lines. That was one line I just recited. Praising Allah, Ya Arham ar-Rahimin, praising Allah, Ya Wadud, Ya Dhal Arsh al-Majid, Ya Fa'alan lima yurid, praising Allah. You ask Allah's help and Allah comes down, but how much do we want Allah? How much do we show Allah that we care about Him? Boy, these people did. That's why they had, wow, they had divine unseen help come like that. Nevertheless, after reciting this dua, an angel comes down and pierces the body of the enemy, the bandit that was trying to harm this sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he recited this dua 3 times. After he kills the bandit, the sahabi asks the angel, who are you? Where did you come from? He says, I am the angel that guards the 4th heaven. When you recited this dua the first time, I heard a knocking at the door of the heavens. When I heard it a second time, I heard some shrieking. When I heard it a third time, I realized that indeed maybe the help of Allah, the friend of Allah is in need of the help of Allah. That's when I sought permission from Allah to allow me to go and execute that disbeliever who is bringing harm to his friend. And Allah dispatched me right there and then, and here I am. Now let us come back. Let us come back to the story. Zayd radiallahu anhu has been martyred. Zayd radiallahu anhu has been martyred. Abdullah bin Tariq radiallahu anhu has been martyred. And Shoaib bin Adi radiallahu anhu has been martyred. Asim radiallahu anhu, who had also been martyred, Asim radiallahu anhu had also been martyred, but before he was martyred, he had made dua to Allah, oh Allah, protect me from having to touch any mushrik, any polytheist, any disbeliever, and let me not touch them, and let not a single one of them get their hands on me. So, Asim radiallahu anhu was also killed. He was also a shaheed. Nevertheless, a woman by the name of Salafa, yes, Salafa's 2 sons had been killed in the battle of Badr. When she heard that Asim radiallahu anhu was amongst them, Asim radiallahu anhu took part in Badr too. She made a vow that I will drink wine in the head of Asim radiallahu anhu, Asim bin Thabit. When Asim radiallahu anhu heard this, that's when he made dua to Allah, oh Allah, protect me from the hands of these sacrilegious people. In order to get his head, Salafa, she informed the people that anybody who brings me the head of Zayd bin Thabit, Asim bin Zayd, will be rewarded a stupendous amount of 100 camels. You can imagine, 1400 years ago, 100 camels. Wow, everybody wanted it. So, after Zayd radiallahu anhu was shaheed, the people went. They went to go and try and get the skull of Zayd, Asim bin Thabit. Little do they know, these are Allah's friends and Allah protects His friends. When they came to Asim bin Thabit radiallahu anhu, at the time when they wanted to sever his head from his body, Allah dispatched a swarm of bees, a huge swarm of bees, and they did not allow a single individual to lay a finger on the body of Asim bin Thabit radiallahu anhu. They said, okay, we'll come back later on tonight and we'll take care of business. When they came back that night, Allah ordered a flood to wash away the Mubarak body of Asim bin Thabit radiallahu anhu, and that was it. About him, Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu used to say, there were people that Allah protected while they were alive, and Allah equally protected them after they died. And amongst them was the great Asim bin Thabit radiallahu anhu. Finally, Shoaib radiallahu anhu, who had also been killed. We spoke about it earlier. He was executed. His body, they left his body on a cross for 40 days. After 40 days, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam dispatched two Sahaba, Zubayr radiallahu anhu and Miqdad radiallahu anhu, to go and to get his body and bring it to Medina. When they went, they found 40 guards guarding the body of Shoaib radiallahu anhu, 40 of them. But because they were just laying there at the time, they were negligent, they weren't paying attention. These two Sahaba, they managed to outsmart them and get hold of the body of Shoaib radiallahu anhu. They got hold of his body and left. They began their journey back to Medina. When the guards woke up, they realized his body's gone. They went out in search of it, and they found them. They found Zubayr, Miqdad with the body of Shoaib radiallahu anhu. When Zubayr radiallahu anhu was holding his body at that time, he realized, we can't let these people get hold of this Mubarak, noble body. He lightly, gently placed it on the ground. Right there and then, Allah split the earth open for the body of Shoaib radiallahu anhu, and it was placed inside miraculously. This is why Shoaib radiallahu anhu was given the title of Bali'ul Ard, the one for whom the earth split open so that none of them disbelievers could get their hands on his noble body. Nevertheless, in one narration it's mentioned, when his body was on the cross, his face would always be facing the Qibla. No matter how much they tried to turn it away, they failed. These were our companions. أولئك آبائي فجئني بمثلهم إذا جمعتنا يا جرير المجامع. These were champions. This was sad. And what happens next is also sad. Yeah. Continue inshallah next Tuesday. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.